And we are live. This is a show that exists.
On the internet.
Yeah, on the internet. Always on the internet. Not
allegedly
on TV. Well, hopefully on the internet. Maybe. Maybe not. So, I'm your host, Ryan. With me, as always, we got Joe. And this week's special guest is Rated S for Sandwich.
I'm special. That's good. That's what I endeavored to be when I was a small child. I was like, Dad, I'm gonna be special someday, and he's like, "Yeah, you really are. you're getting there pretty quick, man.
It's the right kind of special.
He's some kind of special.
Some kind of something." Well, hi guys. Thanks for having me on to talk about whatever the fuck.
Yeah, no problem.
This week we're probably gonna talk about Nintendo.
Oh,
because they did things this week, but
they do things all the time.
But first, I'm obligated to talk about the intro, and that I have to plug the person who made it for us. That was the deal there. There was a not financial money, this advertising. They traded advertising for good work. So, as you'll notice, this week we have the first week where we used an intro video for the podcast. It will be the intro video for all of the videos on Dapper Gaming now, produced by Delton Childs Productions. You can find them at Delton Childs Production, or DeltonChilds.com, I'm pretty sure, and also Delton Childs Productions. I can't remember all of them, but one day I'll have memorized all of the ad, and then I'll read it off, and we'll be great. He didn't give me anything to read off like Audible did. Audible, there's like, read this. This dude's like, just plug us. But solid
advertising, don't worry.
Solid intro, better than I could do, hence why we didn't have an intro for a very long time. So
makes sense.
I'm the content guy. I do the talking.
There you go.
So we'll start this week off with what we start off with every week. What have you guys been playing?
I can start off with Todd.
Sure. Oh, I get to go first?
You can go first.
I haven't been playing much.
I've had a million fucking things. Speaking of Nintendo, I got these, so I've been playing these like a.
They're really pixelated. I can't see what they are.
Well, it was Mario and Kirby.
Oh, Kirby!
Is that the Mario Golf? Because it looked like his arms were in the position of a golfing stance, but I couldn't tell.
Yeah, no, this is Mario Golf and the Kirby Triple Deluxe, which is another fucking 3D. That's not cute anymore. Triple Deluxe, it means nothing except for 3D, right? I just realized that I was taking a shit 3 hours ago. I was like, oh, it's another 3D. It's like Kingdom Hearts, Dream Drop Distance. We get it. It's 3D. Stupid. I hate it. Game's great.
Good.
The game is really fun. I mean, it's still Kirby, so it still has a lot of Kirby's tropes in that it's more. It's kind of like a game that is fun to play, and rather than being particularly compelling from a gameplay perspective, but all the abilities are really nice and very fleshed out. Some of them have 4 pages of shit you can do, which is cool.
I have a question about Triple Deluxe, just because I listened to the Giant Bombcast, and the guy who was reviewing that said that it's too easy even for a Kirby game. It's strangely easy. Kirby's always been easy.
Kirby games have never been challenging though.
Yeah, but
ever.
But his complaint was Kirby's never been hard, but this is even easier than every other Kirby game I've ever played.
My thoughts regarding that, I feel like the point is moot because the level of challenge presented in any Kirby game is so insignificant for someone who is an adult that it really doesn't matter if it's challenging or not challenging. For the most part, a lot of that game is simply just accomplishing things and seeing all the various powers, utilizing them in a meaningful way, perhaps not a challenging way, but one that is tactile and enjoyable. And then there's all the various puzzles and stuff, which are always small and self-contained, but they're satisfying to solve still. It's oh, okay, there's the 3D part here, and you have to work this, I have to do this thing first, and if I shoot that thing, it's gonna go away. Oh, so now I have to come back to this later. Stuff like that.
I feel like Kirby's always been just a fun, relaxing game. It's something that's definitely doesn't have to be challenging at all.
Right. And I mean, I would like them to repurpose all of the amazing thoughtfulness that goes into all these abilities and all the bosses. The bosses in this game are fantastic. And put them in another game or something that would take provide people with a genuine challenge because it's like it's just weird. Like there's games like Mega Man which are very challenging and always have these like multi-dimensional bosses and stuff. But for the most part, every ability you get is just one thing. But in Kirby, you have like a million things you could do for every ability. So it just feels like it's a perfect marriage that
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet. Like they haven't met each other yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want that to happen. But yeah, I'm enjoying the game. Again, it's not challenging, but it's fun. It looks great. Only game I play on 3D. I don't play any other game on my 3DS on 3D. But this one has made a compelling argument towards the other way. So on top of all that, I play like 80 Steam games, roughly. I had like a small party thing recently, so I played like a bunch of Towerfall, Ascension. What else did I play? I was just looking at this. I tried this game called Blade Symphony. I don't think I like it very much.
Yeah,
It
didn't that
seems
like just come out?
Yeah, it like just came out, and I just don't feel like it's very tactile. Like all of the various weapon attacks you can do, they're just kind of like. And I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm hitting anybody, or maybe I am. And then this one person just kept running in circles around me. It felt like Tekken if Tekken were made with lazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving it enough a fair handshake. I played Broforce like 3 times in co-op. That game is bonkers. A lot of some cell damage. I played Sports Friends on the PS3. That game is weird. I like it. It's goofy. It's got that like quirky co-op, not co-op, versus fun kind of thing going on.
Is that the game that I think it is where they have like the really messed up controls for a bunch of real sports and it's like the Olympics, but all the countries aren't real countries?
Yeah, kind of. That's a little bit larger of a concept than the game is pitching, I think. The whole idea is that there's like, at least in this version, I'm sure there's gonna be more later. There's like 4 different sports that they've made up from 4 different time periods.
Oh,
Um,
maybe I'm thinking of the wrong game then.
maybe, but
'Cause-
it's got that same feel of those kinds of games. They're just silly. It basically
Yeah.
They're like physicsy silly. One of them is kind of like Smash Bros with a ball. I don't know. Kind of like that game in I don't know. There's like a Disney movie or something where they got to put a ball through a hoop. It's like a Mayan thing. It's like based on that idea. Yes, Quidditch, the Mayan game Quidditch from back when the people first landed in South America. That
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know
Well,
what the-
you know, Mayans, they could fly on broomsticks, so
I don't. I
is
believe
true.
it.
it's the
Yeah,
real
sorry about
secret
Wikipedia.
that history has always known, but they don't teach you in high school. Mayans,
They don't, and none of them are
wizards.
here, so they can't tell us. Against
Damn
the other
Mayans.
ones.
So what have you been playing, Joe?
I played Sonic Unleashed for about an hour before I wanted to stab myself in the eye. That was great.
You managed to play more of that? Because I know
Yeah, I
last
did.
week you had played it, and you're like, it was really bad. I don't want to play it anymore.
I played a little bit more of it. Yeah, I should have just not played more of it. Other than that, a lot of Brawl, a lot of Mario Party. I really haven't been playing too much this week, surprisingly. Yeah, that's really about it. I've been kind of boring. Oh, I played some Antichamber because I fucking love that game.
Game's bizarre.
That game is amazing. I can beat it in probably like 8 minutes.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
because you know the puzzles.
yeah.
That's the
I also
problem
know
with a
this-
puzzle game. That's like saying,
Yeah.
like, I can beat Myst in 5 minutes, because I know where the one key is that you have to go pick up and go to the one door that leads to the end of the game. It's like, great.
Yeah. I know the speedrun route. That's pretty much it. That's why. But that's pretty much all I've been playing. My week's been kind of boring. How about you, Ryan?
So, the other day, like 2 days ago, I got into the Landmark, the EverQuest Landmark beta, the closed beta that they just started. And so I've been playing that the last couple days. It's alright. I'm not sure how to feel on it yet, because I haven't really gotten that far into it, in that I haven't crafted all of the crafting tools yet. So if you don't know what landmark is, it's like Minecraft, but not with squares. So it's a voxel game made by Sony Online Entertainment, and the idea that they're like pitching is that it's free to play, and you build stuff. Like you can build a tower, let's say, and they might put in EverQuest Next, which is supposed to come out in like 2015 or 2016 or something. It's the new EverQuest game that they're making, and they'll like pay you for the stuff that you build. And so you can like you start off with a square tool and you place down all these blocks, and then you go with the chisel tool and like round them off to like make them a circle, and then you have like a circular tower, and then you can like go inside of it and like carve it all out, and then like put tables and stuff inside of it and actually build buildings that look like real things rather than
okay. Hold on. This is some Google shit. You know how Google uses the picture form of CAPTCHAs to actually get data on how to read those images from Google Maps, those images that they take? It's the same thing. They're just gonna fucking have everyone build the whole EverQuest Next. It's like, oh yeah, we're making it, don't worry about it. Hey, by the way, if you could just play this game for like 400 hours, that'd be great. We'll pay you like $30, you make a nice tower. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the idea, is that like if you build a castle, let's say, they'll be like, well, here's $500 for the castle, but you can buy other buildings from other people. So like, let's say I'm building a castle and I need 4 towers, and this dude's made a tower that I really like. I can buy his tower and place it in the castle 4 times, and then let's say those towers can like take up 20% of the castle, like of the total build of the castle. Then when Sony buys my castle off of me to use in EverQuest, then that dude gets 20% of the money, because his towers make up 20% of the castle.
This shit sounds complicated.
It seems fairly simple. It's just
well, it's like the Team Fortress 2 and Dota model.
I guess.
Yeah.
Is it
same with the PlanetSide 2 models?
Texture wise.
Yeah, texture. Yeah.
How does it look? I mean, like, because wouldn't all these different people's design?
It looks like
be like really amalgamated and not work very well together.
Everyone's design. Okay, so you can build things in like all these different types of themings. Like you can build sci-fi stuff as well. So what happens is like you go onto this server and you have a flag, and it's called a claim flag, and you run off into the world wherever you want and you plant your claim flag down, and then you're the only person allowed to build inside of that claim, and then you get more flags to like extend your claim out further, and no one else is allowed to like claim directly next to your claim, so that you have room to like continue to spread out. And so you can build like a whole town basically, and no one else's town can be like nearby, but you can let other people build inside your claim. Like you can give them permission to do that, and so then you can like recruit a bunch of people to help you build a town. So like you and 6 friends could build a whole town basically in an area, and you guys could do that together, but you have to like individually approve everyone who you want to actually be able to build with you.
It seems okay. It's a good idea. Like the evil idea is genius.
Well, right now it plays a lot like early Minecraft, because they're trying to add in like survival aspects and stuff, like how Minecraft has creepers. They're trying to add in monsters and stuff.
Nah, fuck all that. Just
because
have people build shit for
that, like,
forever.
Yeah, that's why I think that's kind of stupid. But they aren't sure where they're gonna go with the game to make it more gamey. But as far as building goes, like, it's way better building engine than Minecraft, because the voxels are way more precise. In fact, they ended up coming up with a new term called micro-voxel, because people carve things into such tiny spots, like they're only like 10 pixels large, that they're not how
voxels.
Normal voxels are. They're only like part of a voxel.
Maybe we call it a voxel then. Why isn't it just a fucking polygon?
Well, voxels are made of polygons. Yeah.
Why do we have to make a term for it? Be a cube then? I don't understand.
Pixels.
This seems like a buzzword now. Voxels. Oh, really?
Well,
voxels. Wow.
Voxels actually refer to a specific thing in gaming, like where you can basically like morph the land because they're formed out of like individual chunks. It comes from computer sciences. It doesn't come from gaming.
Hey, okay.
It has to do with graphics and not to do with games.
Okay. Whatever.
So now this is going to move into the next thing that I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft as well, but not because I like Minecraft. Let's make that really clear. I don't like Minecraft at all. I've been playing it
Oh, God
because
forbid.
my job is now to make Minecraft plugins for these Minecraft servers that are ran by a couple YouTubers who have a lot of subs. And so now I'm writing all these Minecraft plugins. So I'm basically sitting around Monday to Friday, like 10 hours a day, writing these plugins and then like loading up Minecraft and seeing if they kill these servers or not. And then trying to make basically these plugins that completely change what Minecraft is. Like, we're making like right now I've been working on a PvP arena plugin that basically is like a Coliseum, like the Coliseum from Skyrim, or not from Skyrim, from Oblivion, the arena in that kind of. And then that's going to have also like a PvP endgame with like a ladder system and stuff. And then next week I think we're starting to make this RPG mod that basically is an MMORPG that's kind of like Guild Wars 2 in kind of questing mechanics. Like, this is ceasing to be Minecraft basically, and it's really fun to program, but I fucking hate Minecraft. So like every time I turn it on, I'm like, oh yeah, you can just punch people really awkwardly in this game. This sucks. And I'm like, okay, well, this works. And then I go back to programming. So those are the two things I've been playing this week. Landmark, because you can build really cool shit in it, and Minecraft, because I have to.
Like your cries fall on deaf ears. Oh, I gotta play Minecraft for my job every day. Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
It's like Achievement Hunter. Oh, we've done so many episodes of Minecraft.
It's not the same because it's testing software
I'm just
really
giving you
playing
shit.
it.
You have a job doing something that sounds like it's at least remotely fun.
I love the programming part. I hate the testing part, but I mean, I think that's every other programmer. Like, even if I wasn't testing shit in Minecraft, I'd be like, I fucking hate testing because it's always the worst part of programming because it's just boring and hard because shit breaks and you're not really sure why. But the rest of it's super fun.
That's good.
So I guess let's jump into the news unless anyone else has any more games they want to talk about.
Oh, I'm ready to do some jumping.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So I think the most obvious way to do this, we'll talk about Unreal Tournament and then we'll just do all of Nintendo at the end because they did a bunch of stuff this week. So did you guys see the announcement on, I believe it was on Thursday, about the new Unreal Tournament game?
I have not.
That shit went open source, Joe. Man, they ain't gonna let everybody make it.
Yeah. Nice.
I assume that Ryan's gonna read the whole thing. I don't know. I don't want to.
I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I was gonna kind of like sum it up and then talk about what they did online, which was kind of cool in the Twitch stream, and then kind of talk about why that's cool.
Basically, it's like it's sort of what Unreal Tournament has already become. It's not quite as relevant anymore, unfortunately, because of the popularity of less twitchy shooters. But basically, the game is going open source with people who are going to use the going to be using UDK for the new Unreal Engine, and if I understand that correctly,
yeah, you need to.
They can they're basically gonna just filter things and make sure it's not a bunch of shit that everyone's playing. But it's a free game and not like monetized free, like legit free, and people are just can make things for it, and it's all gonna be easily accessible.
Well, they have a way of actually monetizing the game that they've already talked about, but it's a lot like the monetization for it though is a lot like the Team Fortress 2 and like Dota 2 style of monetization, where the community makes stuff and then sells that stuff, and they just take a cut of the stuff that's sold. So the game is practically open source. The only requirement to be able to develop it is that you're going to need a UDK4 license because you need to have UDK4. I'm sure they're gonna have a free version eventually, but not that version, I assume. UDK4 is the new development kit basically for the new engine. But they've changed how they monetize that too, because it's like $19 a month for a license instead of like a flat fee of $300,000. So it's a lot more open in that if you wanted to mess around with the new Unreal, then you can just pay the $19 a month and use it. Kind of like how
a lot of softwares have been doing that now. Same with Adobe. Adobe started doing that.
Yeah, except that their
Everyone
fees
is.
are way more than $19 a month.
Well,
Yeah.
obvious for the whole suite,
I,
obviously.
Dude, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, as far as like the price of things like that, it's crazy what kind of content you can get out of people who just have time but no money.
Yeah.
Because especially nowadays, people, when it's getting more expensive to leave the house and shit like that, and harder to find jobs, people like, and some people who are fortunate enough to be able to stay at home, they can just sit there and make shit all day. I know tons of modders, they're not tons. I know modders, some modders they just do that all day, and eventually they're gonna be good, and they're probably gonna get jobs that way. So it's like, yeah, if you can pay someone, if you just pay in just a little bit to get good people that you didn't even know were gonna be there because they either can't or won't or don't go through the extensive and expensive process of school, why not? It makes the world a better place.
Well,
Yeah.
it also is kind of like a changing job landscape in that our generation is so underemployed. Like, they all have a part-time job, but they can't find enough work to be able to, like, belong to, like, that kind of workforce that used to exist to our parents, I guess, where you have one job and you work your 40 hours a week instead. Like, a lot of my friends have 2 or 3 jobs and work, like, 5 to 8 hours a week at all of those different jobs instead of having one job that they're there for, like, the whole week. And a lot of the people that I know who program are in the same, like, boat where they only get, like, 10 hours of work a week. And they're like, well, now I need to try to figure out how to make the rest of my money. And it always comes to, like, working online, doing weird shit.
I have a ton of friends
Weird
doing the
shit.
exact same things.
Makes sense. I mean, like, why it's there's a lot of stuff that gets recognized just for being good. It just takes time.
Yeah. So the way that they're actually going to monetize this game after it's, like, done is that you can write a mod. Like, you can make a mod for the game. Since it's all open source, you'll have way more, I guess, like, power to mod it than you did with the last one. Unreal Tournament 3 was really bad for that. But
Yeah.
it was
I think
basically
that's some
unmoddable.
problems.
But
Yeah.
But this one, like, you'll write up a mod for it, you can put it up on the marketplace for, like, let's say $5, and people can buy it to run on their server or whatever. And then that whenever you get a sale for $5, then I guess Epic will take, like, $1.
Give or take. These aren't actual numbers.
Yeah. Like,
Right.
they'll take a percentage of that sale. So,
Right. Yeah. It's like Steam. It's like some Steam Workshop shit, right?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's what they do with Team Fortress 2 and Dota 2.
Trading cards, all that
Except
stuff.
that there's an approval process for, like, Team Fortress 2 and Dota 2 where, and I'm assuming there will be for this too, especially because this is code and not just models. So it could be really devious, way more devious than a model. But, like, they'll basically approve something and put it up on the marketplace after they know it's safe, and every time that someone buys it, then you get money and they take a percentage, just like they do with Team Fortress 2 hats or Dota 2 items and all that other stuff.
Yep. It's a cool thing. I mean, on top of, it's kind of funny because it's kind of like the focus of the news. But on top of all that, it's another Unreal Tournament game.
Yeah, that's
Which is
bizarre
fucking
because
awesome because Unreal Tournament has been relevant for a long time. But I still love that shit, and every time I
Same
play
here.
it, the only problem with Unreal Tournament is that it was coded to be now it's shit to play multiplayer. It's garbage. It's just a pain in the fucking ass unless you're playing on, like, a 360. You're playing on Tournament 3, and it's just like I don't want to play. I love my console. I ain't playing Twitch shooter on a console. You crazy? So yeah, this definitely
It's
needs
so
to.
much fun.
It's a fun game. It's just that it's not.
I love playing it.
I don't want to use my controller. I want to use the.
I play, yeah,
thingy.
mouse and keyboard. I
Yeah.
play split screen with friends all the time. It's so enjoyable.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's gonna be I'm just jazzed for that. I want to see all of that, and it'll be great because hopefully this will mean that they're not gonna put any time into writing a stupid dumb story, because that game didn't need that shit.
Yeah,
It was bad.
it was.
We gotta stop the bad guys. Oh no, there's more bad guys. Oh shit, kill those guys too. Oh, we did. Okay. Who cares? So yeah, I'm excited. I am gonna be playing that like at least a lot.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. So when they get to a point where the game's like made some progress, because what they did when they did the big Twitch stream announcement on Thursday is that they wrote the first line of code live, and the thing is that with only one line of code, like you can't start really contributing. So, like, just because it would be in computer sciences and basically as like a software developer, it's important to work on open source projects when you don't have a job already at like a major development firm, because it like lets you put your name on major projects, which is super useful for resume stuff. So like I'm probably gonna hopefully submit some lines of code that don't get rejected 5 months from now. In all likelihood, I'll submit hundreds of lines of code that get rejected, but maybe they'll take 20.
There you go. Just code cheats, man.
Just code cheats.
What are they gonna say? No to that? No. Not just big, and not just big head mode, like head mode, triple head mode. Ever thought about that? No one's ever done that.
No clip.
Yeah, exactly. Or just British accent.
Just take all the 007 GoldenEye cheats and there you go.
Well, that's plagiarism. Come on. Be creative here still.
Okay, big tit mode.
That's a terrible idea. I said be creative. You were like,
it's like the complete opposite.
Yeah, come on, Joe.
Exactly.
You
know
this.
People would download it.
That's true. I mean, hey, but then it's open source. You're not really getting paid for it.
So let's jump into, I guess, the Nintendo news, and then maybe we'll talk about a couple other smaller stories after the Nintendo stuff, because Nintendo did all sorts of things this week that are worth talking about. So, do you guys know about the Tomodachi Life incident for 3DS?
Yep.
So, this week, Nintendo of America released a couple statements. The first one being retarded. The second one being the appropriate one that they should have released in the first place. But NeoGAF basically organized a campaign. What was it called? Like, Me Equality or something?
It's Me Equality.
Me Equality. Yeah. NeoGAF organized a campaign on the internet called Me Equality to basically protest for the inclusion of like same-sex relations in Tomodachi Life because they aren't included. And surprisingly enough, the campaign was like pretty mellow and like reasonable. Normally when the internet campaigns like get organized, they degrade to spamming developers on Twitter and calling them assholes and threatening to kill them.
Well, they can't because the developers are in Japan. Whoops.
Joe's gone.
Bye, Joe.
Bye.
He's dead.
Hopefully he'll be back in a second.
Ryan, check the news. See if Canada just blew up.
It's still here. I'm still here, so I'm pretty sure we're still good.
Well, shit. I don't know.
But
where anyone is.
Whatever. We'll go on with this. Hopefully Joe gets back.
I'm sure he's heard the stories already. Everyone's heard the damn stories.
Yeah. So Nintendo of America released a statement saying that they didn't want to make social commentary and that wasn't their goal with the game, which was completely the wrong thing to say. And then several days later said, we're sorry about our statement basically offending people, and that in future like versions of the Tomodachi series, we're going to try to be more inclusive and include these things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, you're back. We thought you had died of
yes.
meteorite or something.
Yeah. Sephiroth came in and dropped a meteorite on me. I died.
Son of a
GG. Game over.
So, it looked like you were gonna say something, Todd. If you got something to say.
Oh yeah, you can see my face do things.
Yeah.
I did. It's. I think like the umbrella under which this falls under is you guys. If everyone was so upset about it, they should have been upset about it 2.5 years ago, when they were developing the game. And like to me, that's the end of the fucking story. The game has been done for a year and a half. A year and a half. It's not like Mass Effect where a game comes out and everyone's like, the ending sucks, and they're like, here's a slightly less shitty ending. Well, fine, I guess. It's not the same thing. The game has been done for a year and a fucking half. They're just putting it all in English and removing strange Japanese references, or some of them. I'm just probably gonna keep most of them in because it's Tomodachi Life. It doesn't make any fucking sense to begin with. So I mean, it's not that this whole protest doesn't have a point, because it does, and I do agree with their assertions that the game could have been more inclusive, and it I'm sure it could work somehow. It'd be kind of weird. I mean, like, not weird, but you'd have to introduce that concept in a respectful way rather than just be like, do you want to be gay? You kind of have to do what they did like in Animal Crossing, where it was like that's a cool name for a guy, or that's a cool name, or that's a cute name, and it's like, oh, you're a girl, it's like, no, I'm a guy. So you can still respond the way that you feel internally, and then the game can sort of ascertain your position on something without necessarily being like, hello, are you gay? Yes or no? No? Okay. All right. You can have marries with the straight women and or men. Okay. Because that'd be strange. But the game's already done, so like, just end the damn story. And in the future, yeah, they can do this. And it's not like Nintendo's not been inclusive before. There's certain gay relationships that are possible in Fire Emblem, and they directly have oversight over that game. And they weren't like, oh, no gay. Come on, hey, this is a tactics game, everybody. Let's keep it straight swords. Swords go into the holes, not the swords and swords. That doesn't make sense. So it's not like Nintendo was fucking out of the loop. They just weren't really. Clearly they weren't thinking about it as a social norm. I don't know how that works in Japan.
Well,
here,
if you look at like the movement for, I guess, homosexual rights in Japan, it's a lot less popular than it is in the West. Like, it's only 53% of the Japanese believe that it's like only 53% of Japanese like approve of gay marriage, and 34% actively disapprove, and that number is a lot smaller in like the West. Mainly Europe and like Canada. I don't know what it is in the US.
I'm sure
probably smaller than that too. But however, you can argue that part of localization isn't just changing the language, but also adapting a game towards that culture of the market that you're releasing it in. However, because the game because this is a localization, like, it could be argued, and I think in this case, with the history of the game, could be argued even stronger than in the case of other games, that it's non-trivial to allow like gay relationships within the game, because there was a glitch when the game came out in Japan that allowed for men to like get married to each other, and then one of them would get pregnant, and they had to patch it out. But they had to patch it out because it broke save files and all this other stuff. Like, it majorly fucked up the game and made it not work, and made it like blue screen system. Well, not blue screen systems, but brick systems. So, like, that's a major glitch. You can't.
It's a pretty bad glitch. How do you miss that?
Yeah. So you can't. So they had to patch that out, obviously, which they did. But you can't. It's not easy to put that back, like to put in the option to have gay marriage or like homosexual relations within the game. And so the thing that I guess is sort of frustrating about this case is more the response that Nintendo had, because it seems like another case where Nintendo of Japan kind of put Nintendo of America in a situation where they had to release a statement, and then also released a statement that I wouldn't say is let out of malice. Like, it's not that Nintendo hates gay people, it's that Nintendo of Japan is more or less ignorant of Western customs. And so,
it's
like,
not even just Western customs. It's corporate anything. Nothing is a big deal until it's a big deal. Nobody accounts for big deals ahead of time. That's all done creatively. And so if they're like, hey, like if someone from Nintendo America doesn't go down to who made is it Spike Chunsoft who makes that game?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So if nobody marches down there and says, hey guys, make sure you put the gay stuff in there. Okay. All right, good job. Then it's not going to happen unless creatively the team decides that that's a direction that they want to go in. And if what you were saying is correct, stats-wise, I mean, what's their chance? There's a pretty good chance that an entire development team could just not be gay, but also actively not believe, follow gayness, not be okay with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense, unfortunately, but it's just that's ignorance. That's ignorant. That's why this is a great movement. I think it's awesome. I just don't know why everyone. I just don't like. I don't like the media. That the media reaction to it wasn't to be like, Nintendo responded poorly. They're not all wanted, but they made definitive statements on Nintendo's position in history. Like so many bylines and closing arguments were about how Nintendo on this day will remain on the wrong side of history. Nintendo has chosen to opt into ignorance, and it's like.
And I don't think that's fair because I don't think that their statements were out of malice. I think it was just kind of ignorance of like cultural customs and not so much about them not supporting it. I think the best articles that I read on this was by Giant Bomb. They talked about it on Bomb in the AM, and like Patrick basically summed it up in that it was more or less Nintendo of Japan basically just being ignorant of Western customs rather than being ignorant of homosexuality, or in the more extreme case, like some people were claiming, doing this out of malice rather than just ignorance. Like,
let's not let the gay people play the game.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of the
thing. I think that's like a really like the underlying factoid under all of that shit. When people were like, "Oh, the corporate people just hate this." No, they want more money. So you put gay stuff in, you get more money, then they're gonna do it. So they're obviously not gonna try and get rid of an entire subsection of people, no matter what percentage it is. Like I'm sure that's the subsection of gay video gamers who own a 3DS who want to play a life simulator. It may not be particularly huge, but they're not gonna actively dispose of potential money. There's no reason to do that. There's just ignorance. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
And I agree with that article too. And yeah, Patrick Klepek is a fucking on point guy. So oops. So I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, they'll. And then Nintendo, if they make another one, they'll get it right.
Yeah, well, Nintendo basically actively said yeah, the next one we'll put that in, which is what they should have said in the first place. Instead, basically their second statement was we can't put this in because it's a localization and it's hard to do. We'll put it in the next one.
Right.
You should have said that in the first place, damn it.
They should have, but
it's because they're always trying to be super safe politically. Nintendo tries so hard to avoid controversy that they often fall into it as a result.
And then they don't know what to do, how to get out.
Yeah.
You can't swim in controversy.
So, I guess now we'll talk about Nintendo's financial briefing from this week that also revealed a bunch of other stuff that they're going to be talking about at E3. So Nintendo posted their third annual loss. So that is 3 years without profit, which is not a great thing. However, I guess Iwata, he talked about what he was hoping to do with Nintendo in order to make the Wii U profitable and in order to make more profits off the 3DS. I guess we'll start with the 3DS stuff because it was kind of obvious moves. So they basically ended up announcing that they're making another Pokemon game for the 3DS. They're making Omega Ruby and something.
Alpha Sapphire. Pokemans.
So
nostalgia in HD graphics.
That shit sells. And now it's in 3D.
Oh, you can see the footsteps on the sand. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You can tell I'm super enthusiastic about this.
It's just like N-Freak says here,
I'm
Pokemon
not
announcement was made to soften the blow for investors.
Yeah, well, I mean,
basically,
and it was gonna happen anyways. They could have just released the fucking game, and everyone would have been like, "Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Sure, fine, make another Pokemon. Why bring another?" Someone, I think, someone was pointing out that there's gonna be a pattern thing where there's gonna re-release games, and then new game, and then an old game, and then a new game. Why not?
Basically, I mean, it's guaranteed to make money. Is Pokemon? It's like Call of Duty is guaranteed to make money. I mean, over time it's going to make less money, but it's still going to make money. It's going to be profitable.
Yep. And it's widely merchandisable, way more than Call of Duty. Way more. Nobody wants
hugely.
a fucking action figure soap McTavish. No one gives a fuck. But you know how many people have like their walls lined with Pikachus and shit. So
Dude,
the Pokemon is ridiculously smart. I don't play them anymore, but I'm glad that everybody gets their fix of Pokemon stuff.
they released a Pokemon game for Wii U called like Pokemon Rumble U. It's like a weird arcadey game. And it's the only game on the system to use the NFC communicator on the gamepad, and
It
they like
is for
sell
now.
little like figurines you put on there and like play as Pokemon. That shit's genius.
Well, they did it to play into their NFC that they just announced.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
like an expansion of the program that they'd already have because it's crazy that they didn't. So, we'll talk about it
Yeah.
Right.
after we talk about
Yeah.
some of the other Wii U stuff because there was not just that. I think we'll talk about the NFP thing last because it's the biggest thing that they announced basically. So they also announced, or well, they didn't announce, but they're planning to make big money off of Mario Kart 8 and off of Smash Brothers. That's basically how they plan to make the Wii U profitable this year.
Dude, that console deal with Mario Kart 8 and getting one
It's
free game,
bonkers.
it makes me want to get a Wii U, but I still don't have the money.
In Europe, it's crazier. They get to choose from 10 free games. We only get to choose
Yeah,
from 4.
Yeah, I read that list.
Not
What
fair.
games do we get? I haven't bothered to pre-order yet.
I don't
'cause
know
get
about
paid
you
till next
guys.
It
week,
was
but-
Pikmin 3, Super Mario Bros. U, fuck.
Wind Waker and
yeah, Wind
Wii
Waker
Party
HD.
U.
Yeah, Wii Party U.
Those
Right,
are the
there's
4
only
we
one
get. Do you
game
guys
that I
have the
don't
same
own.
4 up there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Fucking
I guess
Europe gets Wonderful 101. I was like, oh, come on.
That game's so good.
They get Monster Hunter also, and like 3 or 4 other.
Yeah.
Monster
That's
Hunter's fucking
ridiculous.
awesome too.
Yeah.
The problem is that the Wii U, like, it has a good, like, some good games, but if you own one, you own all of the good games because there's so few of them.
Yeah, but hey, dude. I mean, look, I don't know about as far as like how this contributes to economics because I'm not a business person. But I feel like if you have a console and you buy 4 to 6 games a year and they are all Nintendo games, and that's all you own in that console, it's still pretty fucking good. That's essentially for Nintendo. That's a home run every like once at least once every quarter.
I think
Like,
the attach rate's
would-
probably a lot better on the Wii U than it was on the Wii. The problem is that there's a lot less Wii U, so they haven't made back that R&D budget.
Right,
Yeah.
and on top of all that, the people aren't just buying their like run of the mill shit, and in those spaces between releases that aren't necessarily replayable, like Kirby, I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna get rid of it. Well, this is 3DS, but anyways, there's like that people get that lingering feeling like, oh, maybe I should get another console, which, it's a reasonable thought to have. Especially right now that the console is finally the new whatever this gen next gen is starting to look a little bit more appealing as they fix and improve. So we'll see.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Wii U's the
I-
one console I'm actually kind of looking into getting.
Yeah.
it
good.
has games. I mean,
mine
that's more
all
than
the
you can
time.
say about the other two. It's just that it didn't market itself to the same market that the other two have because, like, the Xbox
they
and the
can't.
PlayStation.
They didn't have the infrastructure to back up a pitch like that.
They
I
also
think- that's the
marketed
big pro-
horribly.
Well, in general,
Yeah.
it was marketed like a rock. Like, hello, do you already have a rock? Here's another rock. It's a slightly better looking rock, but still a rock. And everyone's like, I've already got. I don't need another rock, thanks. It's unfortunate because they didn't have the infrastructure or whatever. They didn't do the research to understand that people are, when they're using their consoles, they're not just playing just the games. Because as much as everyone's like, oh, it's gotta be just about the games, that's a load of shit. Because there's a huge market out there buying these things for not just the games, and even just the things surrounding the games, such as ease of use for friends, for interaction, for account recovery, customer service, all that stuff. Like people paying, you pay $60 a year for Xbox Live, and that means that they'll fix your fucking account problems in 5 minutes. It's one
Yeah.
of those. It's a nice thing. Like on the Wii, I know that's a generation back, but even to some extent, the Wii U had this problem for a while. It was just if it was a problem with the eShop, it was like, well, you just wait for like a week. See if they fix it, or you can call someone and maybe they fixed it, or they'll fix it for you. It's not gonna happen instantly.
Yep.
So Joe, your camera froze. So if you turn it off and on, that should fix it.
Okay.
No, I want to leave Joe in that one moment.
It's a beautiful moment, isn't it?
Have him sit there.
Let's all join him.
No, I'm scared.
Yeah. So like, I mean, Nintendo. The only argument they can make for Nintendo about not making like an all-in-one entertainment system is at least their system is small enough to have other shit next to your TV while you have it there.
That's a
Like-
strange back of the box quote there.
Yeah, like I might not be able to watch Blu-rays on it, but I can still fit a Blu-ray player next to it.
And
I mean, you put a PlayStation or an Xbox under your TV, it's there. That's all it fits.
yeah, that's true. I think they you know, and it's I wonder how much of the third-party support issues are branding in terms of like you know, household. What are people talking about right now? Because where I work at GameStop, it's a pile of shit. But I get tons of kids all the time, and all they care about is Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, and Call of Duty. And I'm just like, where are you getting these things from? Where do you even know or care about this game? It's not even marketed at you. I mean, it's designed to be played by you because they know, so they're making their games beatable by 9-year-olds. But you know, that's like, how'd that happen? And I'm, you know, just thinking about it, and maybe someone I'm sure more wise than me has probably talked about this, but like marketing these games at these adults is how the kids find them, because the adults look at them, they go, oh yeah, I know what that is. That's probably not a bad game. I'll just buy it. So they get Call of Duty and they keep playing Call of Duty by themselves, and the kids want to be their parents, so they play Call of Duty instead of playing Nintendo.
Well, it's because kids don't want to be kids. That's why.
Yeah.
Kids want to be grown-ups.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's not even like Nintendo stuff's not even like condescending. It's not like, hello, child, or not anymore. For a while, the Wii was getting a little condescending. That's true. But I think so far on the Wii U, I haven't really felt too annoyed with, except for Nintendo Land. I think nothing has been too relentlessly tutorialized. Not even the new Kirby game. It was really just kind of start playing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they
Plus,
could turn it around.
Some of the games that they have that Nintendo make are like actually hard. Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Tropical
Example,
Freeze, also hard.
you
3D
fun.
World.
3D World got hard.
Yeah, 3D World starts ultra easy. Then you get to the last 3 worlds and you're like, this is really hard now. Like,
Yeah.
where did this come from?
Iwata's just sitting out there with this funny eye looking at you like, are you gonna beat it? I don't think so.
I haven't beat it yet. I'll beat it
neither.
eventually. I'm on the last world.
I do too many things.
The one thing that saddens me is that all these kids are going to grow up playing Call of Duty and listening to people swear nonstop instead of, I don't know, experience the glory of
But they're the
games
one
like
who
Ocarina
are
of Time.
swearing nonstop.
I don't know. It's funny.
I've never been
'cause,
like I don't like Xbox Live. The problem is that I come from a Counter-Strike background, so I've always played Counter-Strike, and everyone who plays Counter-Strike, like, besides drunken assholes who get kicked off the server because they're drunken assholes, like,
Yeah.
everyone just talks like a normal human being, and then
do
like
they? I don't know about that. Not
Well,
in-
they
not
used
in
to.
Go, not in Go, they don't. Shit.
not in Go, but they used to in Source at least. I haven't played a lot of Go.
Okay.
Like, I like Go, but I'll pretty much only play it when I play with friends, because
Right.
I only like in Go. I don't like the casual mode because you don't buy armor and stuff. So like, you're not watching your buy as much. You're just buying guns because you can afford a gun and then go. But in like, so I'll only play competitive. But because competitive is way more focused than casual, I like will
And
only
it's-
play with friends.
Then it's work.
Well, it's fun even like competitively, as long as you have friends. If you're playing with Randy's, it's just like playing League or Dota without a friend. It's like, fucking kill me now.
Yeah. No thank you.
But
Yeah.
in Source, like, people used to talk like human beings. I mean, people used to get drunk and have fun, but they didn't just scream swear words. And
Yeah. Well, I mean
that was my problem with Xbox Live, basically.
There's no excuse for it, but I don't really know what to do about it.
there's
Deal with it, I
nothing.
guess. Fucking be better parents.
It's just because of the age difference between the two platforms. Like, PC gamers are generally older, so
Yeah.
that's just why. But
I forget.
Yeah.
Oh, in any case, the either way, the Nintendo needs to do a better job of marketing their stuff to parents who could buy the game and maybe even want to play it, but they can still they can still think to themselves, my kid could play this. Because there's a lot of I've had tons of parents who come in and they're like, yeah, I used to play Donkey Kong all the time. I'm like, have you played the new one? They're like, no, I haven't. I'm like, oh, why not? It's almost as hard as some of the older ones without being as bullshit. And the music is fucking amazing, and the graphics. Look at the graphics. And these parents are like, oh wow, I didn't even know that they made another one. It's like, wow, Nintendo, hello, can you just really pay attention here? Like, there's a whole generation of people growing up without you, and it's not like they don't want you there. They just don't realize that you're still there, which is a problem.
Yeah.
Like a big problem.
You
Everyone,
think like all these parents, Nintendo was big back then, so all these
Yeah.
parents grew up on Donkey Kong and Mario, and
yeah.
it's the obvious thing to do. They're just not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, some parents, plenty of parents, take exemption at all of the M-rated shits and what's not. So and instead of just telling the kid that they just can't play the M-rated games, you just don't buy them. Buy the other ones. The kid's gonna be like, oh, games, great. And like, I mean, maybe part of it's just public school. A lot of people go to public school, at least in America. I don't know how it's like
Yeah.
in Canada. A lot of people go to public schools out here, and so talk of the town, whatever it is. And at the moment, it's still Call of Duty,
It's
Grand Theft
Call of
Auto,
Duty.
because there's just enough parents buying it to make all the other kids also buy it, or all the kids
So
tell the
when-
parents who buy it.
So when the kids go there and they're like, "Oh, all my friends are playing Call of Duty, mommy, I want the Call of Duties,"
That's
and then they
exactly
go
how it
fucking
goes.
buy it.
Yep.
Pretty
That's
much.
exactly how that conversation goes. Which is, I mean, you can't hit kids like that. Like, you can't get to the play. You can't be like, Nintendoing on the playground. You have to get to the parents, to get to the kids, to get to the other kids, to get back to the other parents. Like, that's just how that shit has to go. It was just
Yeah.
like blowing out the N64 cartridges. Someone found out eventually, told some other kid, who told his other friend, and then that's how it's the same thing.
Now everyone's blowing.
And everyone's blowing, Not in Tomodachi Life, though.
No, not in Tomodachi Life. Strictly no.
Fucking full circle.
But they also announced that they're going to be licensing off Nintendo IPs to other developers.
Smart.
So, yeah, it is smart
Great.
because if there's any way, like,
I want
non-Nintendo IP,
F-Zero and Star Fox.
Oh my god! If they give,
dude,
if they
Platinum has been
fucking-
wanting to develop Star Fox forever. I'm not even fucking kidding you. That's what they wanted. They only made Wonderful 101 because they weren't allowed to make Star Fox.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you that if they found enough people who were who left Criterion when they were fucked by EA, they'd be like, "Hey, want to make F-Zero?" I bet you those people would be like, "Fuck yeah!" It's like a whole new take on really fast in-your-face racing that doesn't actually use weapons, because that's what Burnout is. It's totally the same feel, except a little bit more grounded, literally.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I love both of those games, and I totally
knowing-
think Criterion could handle it well.
Just knowing that they could, that there's so many of these IPs that aren't being touched right now, and so many people could pick them up. There could definitely be a ton of shit coming to the Wii U in the future.
Well,
and it can be glorious.
The thing
And all
about
the people there. Sorry, go ahead. Ryan.
Sorry. The thing about, like, why this is a good move is because as a third-party developer, you know that your IP isn't going to sell on Wii U because, like, nothing that's not Nintendo sells on a Nintendo console. Like, every single Nintendo console you buy for Nintendo IP exclusively, basically. Because, like, what games do you have on Wii? It's, like, Smash Bros., Mario Kart, Mario Party, Zelda, and
That's right.
Metroid, and then Mario Galaxy.
More Mario
Yeah.
games. Yeah.
And
Nintendo's
so like
there's some cool stuff on the Wii that's third party, but it definitely is.
Yeah.
not.
there's very little of it. It's like all Japanese stuff that like
Yeah.
came over here
Yeah.
way later.
Like Xenogear.
Also, there's Xenogears. What's that trilogy called? Xenogears, Pandora's Tower, and the last story.
Yeah.
That JRPG trilogy. I don't know if
They're not related
They
to
all-
each other. They're all
they came
different.
out
They
at
just
the
all came out at the
same-
same time.
Right, yeah.
Because they
It
like
was
came
like
out at
the
Wii
same-
U launch time basically for Wii, and I was like,
yeah, just a little bit before, yeah.
Mad World.
Mad
That's
World
a platinum
is-
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, Platinum.
I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I think it's
Platinum
super
should be so
smart.
sour because they make games for Nintendo stuff all the time and then sell like 1,000 copies. It's just like
Yeah.
Great.
Mad World was a weird mix of avant-garde and completely not and like generic, which was I think it kind of clashed in some ways. But it was it was a cool game.
Yeah, I enjoyed
but
it.
either way, the only thing that they really have to worry about is like, that the idea of oversaturation. But I think that if the game experiences are particularly different, it's enough for people to still, at the very least, see them, be more aware of them, and have them spread further into different like not markets, but like gaming subcultures.
Different
Like people
IPs
like
and-
yeah, like people who are interested in like a game like Dynasty Warriors probably wouldn't like just a straight up Zelda. But hey, like, well, here's all these crazy like nifty creatures who are totally beyond reality. Whereas in Dynasty Warriors, the only people who can do anything cool are the main characters. Like here, you'll have enemies that can also do cool things, and it could be a gateway into the rest of Nintendo stuff for people who either missed it, forgot about it, or don't even know about it or aren't interested.
Yeah.
By bridging by gameplay rather than by nostalgia or by graphics or story or whatever. So I think, I agree. I think it's a smart idea.
So then the next thing that they were talking about is that the games that they're going to be developing for the Wii U as Nintendo are going to focus on using the gamepad in like better, more unique ways. Because I mean, if you played Tropical Freeze, you understand why they need to do that. Because as a game that came out, it's like one of the best titles for the system doesn't use the gamepad in any way at all.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. I mean, it's just like what happened with the motion controls.
Well, the thing is that Nintendo's already used the gamepad well in almost every game they released, and then they decided to release 3D World and Tropical Freeze. 3D World, they use the gamepad a little in kind of like interesting ways. Like there's that one level where it's like the Japanese tower, and you can like open up the doors by pressing on them with the gamepad. Like they kind of implemented it in 3D World in like
there's like
not necessary
one
ways.
or two levels per world. Yeah, there's that one in the very beginning where you have to pull the blocks out.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of like Pushmo, but for Mario.
but Tropical Freeze doesn't even try to use it in any way at all.
Not even for a menu, which is
I don't know. It's just it's a new paradigm, and if you're gonna utilize it effectively, it's the double-edged sword. Like not everyone's going to want to use all of like that element. Like I never use the thing unless I have to, or unless it's a very compelling reason to do so. Like Zelda, it's just a map, which I love. I don't want to use it. I want it to be a map. Just fucking sit there and be a map because I don't want to have the damn pause screen up, and I don't mind looking down. I just don't want to look down to my hands. I don't mind glancing down to having it on the table desk thing, but I don't want to be like.
Yeah, well, like I really
Nobody
like
wants
it
to
in
do
Monster
that.
Hunter for that reason too. Like I use it for my inventory and for my map in like Monster Hunter and Zelda, but I kind of like it in God, what game was it?
I know Mass Effect and Batman used it pretty well. Apparently.
Oh, did they? I never.
Apparently, I didn't play those games, but like you could
Right.
because both of those games have stuff that you can't just pull out with a button. It makes it easier to switch between things.
I think
Lego
Nintendo
City
Land did a
Undercover
bunch of
used it
useful.
Well,
Nintendo
Which one,
Land
Joe?
did cool stuff with it.
yeah.
That's-
DeJolly here saying Rayman Legends used it great, and Freak says Zombie U in Nintendo Land.
Zombie U used it.
God, that Zombie U looked like
but-
such a boring pile of gray. Ugh.
Zombie U multiplayer.
I
he
think the
says.
multiplayer used it more interestingly because one player played on the TV and one person played on the gamepad, and like the person on the gamepad played like an RTS kind of.
Yeah, I think that's a big miss. That's not from necessarily from Nintendo because Nintendo doesn't really have a lot of IPs that I think would necessarily fit with that. The only way that I think Nintendo could take advantage of this asymmetrical gameplay that's sort of becoming very natural, because of the gamepad, I think it makes sense to me to have asymmetrical stuff. Like Nintendo Land is like, oh yeah, sure,
I
let's
Well,
think
make
I
a
it would
think
have.
different kind of experience. It'd be really, really interesting if they could somehow fuse Advance Wars and Battalion Wars in the either the co-op or even in single player where you have access to certain kind of perspective and abilities in one perspective and in a different kind in the more traditional gameplay experience. I think that'd be great. And Advance Wars that or the Wars whatever is set perfectly because it has the two different kinds of experiences. But beyond that, I'm surprised that other third-party developers haven't taken more advantage of this. Make some cool like D&D. They need to jump on this.
Yes,
Why hasn't that
how is
happened
that?
already?
I know. I'm surprised
installed
that that's
base, they don't
huge.
have a reason to make games for it.
I
No.
guess. I
I
guess. I
mean,
mean,
they
they
like
have the money.
the
They're
Wii U's
making
been
The
videos,
dungeon
so
master holds the Wii pad, and everyone else gets the controller, and it works perfectly. I don't get how it hasn't.
the Wii U's already been outsold by the other two consoles, and it had a year and a half head start.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it also, I mean, the Nintendo in general had a huge time period of just slow burn, like no hype existence as the Wii. Because it was, I mean, like the best time to release the Wii U was like 4 years ago when the Wii just started to like decline.
Yeah, basically.
They had such a dead zone of just like nobody cares. I think it was like Kirby came out and Donkey Kong came out and then Kirby came out and that was like about it. I don't even remember it much else coming out from Nintendo. That was a big deal. And I think that that's what's hurting them
Galaxy
more than
2.
anything.
When did Galaxy 2 come out?
I don't remember, which is telling.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I know I have it. I just don't know when it came out. In fact, I never bought a Wii, so I only bought Wii games after I got my Wii U because I was like buying a Wii U to be my Monster Hunter machine because I fucking love Monster Hunter. So I don't have a choice in the matter. Like I was like, wow, they're getting rid of Monster Hunter 3, so I guess I'm gonna get a Wii U.
Yeah.
Like
It's I mean and that's I don't know. I think that they just need to keep going cuz it's not like people are like, "Oh, Nintendo exists still?" It's just that they weren't relevant for so long that they have to rebuild. I
yeah,
mean, they don't just get to walk into the room and be
and
like, "Hey, we're Nintendo." And not everyone's going to
and
look at them just because of that.
even with all of this press that they're getting, even if some of it is bad press, they're definitely getting a lot of press at the moment, and they're pushing out a ton of games at the moment. So it could work really well for them at the moment,
well,
as
the
long
thing
as
is
they
that
keep pushing after this.
you have to think about where they're getting press. They only get press in like gaming media for gamers. Guess
Yeah.
what?
Right.
All of the
For-
gamers
yeah.
fucking
This
know
is
that
true.
Nintendo exists, that the Wii U's a thing, and that they have some good games on it. Like no one else knows, and no one cares.
I mean, you say that, but I don't really know if that's necessarily the case right now. I feel like as much as people like know that it's happening, they're not internalizing it. Like they're not taking into their head like the sort of experiences that are being provided on Nintendo. And I think that's because a lot of the newer things that are sort of evolving from technology progressing aren't being featured on Nintendo. Like games like DayZ, like people are like bonkers for this kind of experience. Minecraft, open-ended, largely aimless experiences that people like just because it is aimless. And unfortunately, as much as Nintendo is continuing to refine and I would say execute very well on bringing back and or keeping alive older, genres, they're not making a new thing to match the emerging technology, and that is probably something where I would say creatively they're not keeping up. Because like it's like, oh yeah, great, Donkey Kong, I love Donkey Kong. I'm not gonna play it because I'm playing DayZ, I'm playing League of Legends, I'm playing blah 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 blah. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the other thing that they kind of mentioned was that they're gonna like be trying to do more phone integration stuff, which is, whatever.
Meh.
Like mobile web stuff.
It could
Like-
be cool.
That Mario Kart TV that they're doing, MKTV, where like you get to watch replays and stuff and look at tournaments on your phone. It's like
Yeah.
from game to game they could do something cool with it, and I guess it's an alright way to try to, like, advertise your game on a different platform, but whatever.
Dude, I don't know. I think that that's a gateway to some really smart stuff. I think so. I think it could be really interesting when if they could start giving you experiences that have the Nintendo quality, but that are, again, as I'm talking about, that meet this new sort of experience that people are craving. Maybe it's not, for us as gamers, we're not like, I want to play an Angry Birds and shit like that.
Well, the problem is like their example that they have now is Mario Kart TV, and I'm like, great, I can watch fucking replays. Who cares? Yeah, so like, they have everything that they talked about has potential. Everything that everyone talks about always has potential to be good. It's just, right now their only example of this is kind of boring and meaningless.
You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of the Eve thing that you mentioned a couple weeks back, where there's the separate shooter game where people from Eve Online can hire people from the shooter.
That's
that could be cool.
Or whatever.
514.
Yeah, that would be cool if there was a game on the Wii U, and then playing the game on your iPhone could coordinate with the game.
Yeah,
I think it would work.
Again, absolutely. Could you imagine it? I mean, like, look, if you just,
I can't think of a game.
Let's say they just made a runner, a procedurally generated runner, themed after nostalgic Donkey Kong Country visuals. Who would not fucking see that shit on the marketplace and A, shit their pants, and B, buy it?
Yeah, there's already a Sonic one, and people have been buying that one.
And it does pretty well. They still make updates for it. I see little children's playing on it in my store.
I play it.
It's why would they not do that? Again, they're slow to bat here. Everyone, it's like they just started. It's like mini golf. Everyone else is playing through, and they're like, what's the windmill? How does the windmill work? Do I go up the ramp? Do I go around? What do I do with this 18th hole? I don't understand. So they just need to and I think that they could definitely just come back. They just got to be where everyone else is. Unfortunately, they can't just demand the stage.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think Microsoft had the same problem for a moment. They tried to do all that new shit with like DRM and stuff, and people were like, no thank you, and they had to quickly come back to the stage again. Like they tried to move to a new stage and be like, come with us,
they tried to go
everyone.
too far.
Exactly, and just like Nintendo's trying to say, come back to us, while right now Sony is just being like, fuck it, we ain't going anywhere. We're just gonna sit right here. We'll just play it up.
Yeah. So the last thing that Nintendo talked about was NFP, the Nintendo Figurine Platform, which uses NFC. And this is kind of like Skylanders or Disney Infinity. And
that's going to make them a lot of money.
Incoming Smash Bros. DLC motherfuckers.
Yep.
Yeah, so the thing is that they're looking to put this into like a bunch of different titles, which makes this so this is why it's interesting, because they're going to use it for more than one title. So, like, you buy a figurine and you can use it in 4 or 5 different games, not just one kind of mediocre game. And so they're also trying to launch this at the end of the year, which is also when Smash Bros. Releases on Wii U.
Exactly. And this works on 3DS, which Smash Bros. Is also on.
While they're not releasing a 3DS dongle until 2015, because they don't have NFC on the 3DS.
But it could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen, you guys. You could first of all, because you're a shameless Nintendo fan, get physical representations of your favorite Smash Bros. Characters, which are just your favorite normal Nintendo characters, which is A, awesome, and B, totally they could make that like $8 for a figure, and then like across several games, any game that's full of like any Nintendo shit, and like you were saying earlier, plays into the licensing thing. Let's say you get Hyrule Warriors and you buy a certain like a variation of Link that makes a skin for Smash Bros. That gives you a different costume in Hyrule Warriors. I mean, like, why would you not do that? The value proposition is amazing.
The one thing it reminds me of is, I think it's Melee, where you fucking get the little action figures and then shows them all on your big-ass table. Just imagine having that in real fucking life. And you just pick up your action figures, you put them on, and you start playing Smash Bros.
Which is ironic, because they dropped that motif in Brawl.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's true. They could even, like, if they did, like, a Smash Bros. Themed NFP set. They could even use the little like the
The little
cross
smash symbol.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was this? What a fucking gang sign. Smash Nation. But I think it's genius. It's smart. It's
Yeah.
really smart.
So-
They need to just go hard and fast into this shit.
They do need to go fast. The thing is that this is kind of frustrating because if you know anything about the history of Skylanders was pitched to Nintendo like three or 4 years ago as an exclusive.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
Whoops.
it was pitched to them for Nintendo to be the publishers. Nintendo's like, nah, we'll pass.
That's
Skylanders made the most money in video games last year of like any fucking franchise, and it's just like, God damn it, Nintendo, get smart. Like
They've done that movie. Hey,
Fucking up.
they've
way to
done
drop the
that.
ball, guys.
Dude, that dropping that ball years ago created one of their biggest competitors. Fuck. They don't screw over Sony, whatever, 20 something years ago. They don't have a major competitor for gaming right now.
Yeah,
Whoops.
they're
Should
just.
have made frenzies.
But
Oh well.
so the thing that kind of is most exciting for me about this is that so like Skylanders and Disney Infinity don't capture me. I totally see it as a kid because like you get to buy all these figurines and that's fucking cool. But the games that they're attached to aren't good. Like they're not bad, but they're not good. There's nothing there for me like as an adult. Nintendo though can make a bunch of figurines and then attach them to games that are fucking great. So
Monster Hunter.
then I have to buy figurines.
Yep. I mean, I don't really mind, and people love buying, Nintendo physical stuff anyways.
Yeah, they just
and
love
not enough
collecting
of it comes
shit.
to America, not legally, and we get a bunch of bootleg
over
shit.
Right there. Over
We
there.
get exactly like
The
all
little,
over
like,
YouTube, everyone's
pre-order-
backdrops.
The little
My
pre-order
bad.
chest in the UK for like Wind Waker HD with the little chest you open it and it
I'm
makes
so
a sound.
pissed we didn't get that here. The little chest that you got for pre-ordering Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, I wanted that too.
I want
They had
that.
a Pokeball thing too for Pokemon. You got like a little ball that carried, I think, three 3DS cartridges or something like that.
Dude, in the UK, if you pre-order Mario Kart 8, you get a t-shirt.
We don't get shit, so fuck you.
I
don't wanna hear it. We
know!
don't get fuck all.
They get the games and a t-shirt.
Fuck, that's bullshit. I want a t-shirt, okay?
I'd
I
wear
like shirts.
t-shirts.
I wear shirts.
Yeah.
Everyone
I'm
wears
glad
fucking
you wear
shirts.
shirts, Todd.
A
No, you're
t-shirt
not. You want to wear a shirt.
Oh yeah.
is a way
definitely.
better piece of like packing merchandise than like little tiny collectibles that you'll lose but also don't really have fucking room for. Like a t-shirt, like you just throw out your old shirt with holes in it and then you wear that t-shirt till there's old and holes in it.
Exactly. Or don't have such acidic sweat.
Yeah.
Burning up
Well,
your shirts.
I wear my shirts for a long time, like years and
What?
years and years before I bother to throw them out.
It's mystifying to me how shirts get such big holes in them after. I mean, yeah, admittedly, after
It's the
a
washing
long
machine.
time.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
not like
Makes sense.
6 fucking months later. It's like
Hey, I don't know, man. You
5
could be
years.
really sweaty. Or maybe you just did run up through a lot of archery ranges without defense. You're just like, I don't care.
yeah, maybe.
Was that everything that you had for Nintendo?
Yeah, I think that's like all of the Nintendo stuff. We've been
I don't know if you have a time limit, but I had something that I wanted to ask you guys about.
Oh,
Yeah.
we don't have one. We just usually try to go like an hour to like an hour and a half. So we're approaching that hour and a half, but we can go over. It's okay.
Okay, I just got one thing I just wanted to ask what you guys thought about it. I don't know how invested you are in this company, but did you see the that news that Capcom put out with their 6 most powerful franchises?
No, I
Okay. So
Catch me
guess
up on it.
at least 3. Just guess 3 that you think are on the list of 6. Now, these are the most powerful franchises, not necessarily the best selling.
Monster
Marvel versus
Hunter.
Capcom.
But that's not their own franchise.
Oh, really?
But Monster Hunter, yes.
I thought that was
Not
Capcom.
Marvel. Not Marvel. Well, yeah, but they wouldn't consider that franchise necessarily their own.
Okay.
I don't think.
Oh,
It's not.
okay.
I don't think it's the potentials here.
I see
I
what
feel like
happened
I'm
here.
gonna
You
be
were telling Joe
sadly-
that Marvel's not Capcom. I was like,
Yeah.
fucking
No,
Monster
Monster-
Hunter is without a doubt Capcom.
Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna be.
Monster Hunter's on it.
I feel like I'm gonna be sadly disappointed. Mega Man.
Nope.
No.
Yep. Sadly disappointed.
Yep.
Street Fighter.
Yep. Yeah. One more guess, Ryan.
Oh man. Fuck. What else does Capcom make? I tried to even look up the list, but I can't find it. So now I gotta really.
Beautiful Joe.
What else does Capcom make? Shit.
I have no clue.
Okay, it's the number one is Resident Evil.
Ugh. I forgot they make Resident Evil.
Yeah, so it's Resident Evil, Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, Devil May Cry, Dead Rising, and Lost Planet.
Wow.
Lost Planet?
Echo in your head for a bit. Lost Planet?
What?
What the fuck? You think Lost Planet is stronger than Mega Man? That Lost Planet is more relevant than Mega Man?
I can't believe they haven't like fucking picked up on Mega Man after Mighty Number 9 is fucking shot up so fast in everyone's minds.
They're gonna pull a fucking Shenmue and lose the damn IP like Sega did, where they're like, "Whoops, forgot to make a game. We lost the IP. Oh well." Like,
how long does that take?
Planet 3 was, I don't know how long, but Lost Planet 3 was so fucking mediocre. Nobody, I don't know, a single person who was interested. Everyone who came into my store, they're like, "Hey, is Lost Planet 3 gonna be any good?" And I was like, "I mean, it looks like just a cold shooter. Just play Dead Space 3." They're like, "Okay," like they didn't even give it a second thought. Or just play Lost Planet 1, because Lost Planet 1 was alright, despite its flaws.
Didn't Lost Planet 3 completely bomb? Probably.
Lost Planet 3 did completely bomb, but everything that I heard about it, better than 2.
I mean, two was like an approach to Monster Hunter that just didn't come across. Frankly, I think they should have stayed the path with 2 and just made it a less fucking ridiculous UI, because the UI of Lost Planet 2 was basically like that game with the giant controller. You had the big robot for the Xbox or whatever.
Oh, Steel Battalion.
It was like that, except with your controller, because it was like, I don't understand. But it's to me that Lost Planet, I can't get over this fact.
That's what I always wanted Lost Planet 1 to be, was like Monster Hunter and Max.
Yeah.
So like Lost Planet 2 was kind of cool, and they should have stuck with that and refined it.
Yeah.
Capcom just doesn't give a shit about Mega Man at all.
I think that they just genuinely don't have anyone creatively inclined to make it work. I really don't think. I think that they're like, no, none of these ideas are better than what we already have. As much as, but this is all just us looking out, looking inside their office, going like, what are you guys doing? So who knows if they're just trying and failing over and over, because that's happened before. Better to snuff a bad game, than try to make it work over the course of...
The thing is now is if they do make a new Mega Man, people are going to be expecting something good. So if you can't make something good, then you're going to be fucked when it releases.
Yeah.
It just sucks that Mighty Number 9 is coming out now. So if Capcom does release a Mega Man, it's going to have to be better than Mighty Number 9 if they want to continue the franchise.
Yeah, assuming Mighty Number 9 is good, because
from what
it's not straight up Mega Man. It does have its own little gimmick way that you defeat enemies, which looks cool, but it is different. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting list. I'm proud. I'm not proud. What? It's not my game. I'm glad that Monster Hunter is doing so well. It's at 28 million units. I think worldwide. I think this is worldwide.
Is that for 3U?
No, Monster Hunter, the franchise.
Oh, the franchise?
Yes, million, which is coming up on Street Fighter's 35 million, which is a way more popular franchise. Like, Monster Hunter is selling that well within its own fucking market that it basically cultivated on its own. Its little box of people, 1,600 hours.
It's definitely like grown a lot through YouTube. There's a lot of reviewers and people who talk about it all the time, especially Pro Jared. There's like a ton of people, Game Grumps. It's definitely growing because of the YouTube market, definitely.
Yeah, and beyond, which is fun. And ironically, Resident Evil keeps putting out duds.
Yeah, like 5 and 6.
Revelation was apparently pretty good.
So it's really obvious why Resident Evil 6 turned out the way that it did. And it's because Resident Evil 4 was really, really good as far as like review and hype behind that game. And so Resident Evil 5 came out and everyone bought Resident Evil 5. And even though it kind of critically bombed and people don't like it, it's the best-selling Resident Evil of all time because of how well Resident Evil 4 did. And so Capcom made another Resident Evil 5.
Yeah.
I
I
surprisingly,
think, and that would be a really obvious thing to do if you made a game that was the best-selling version, like installment in franchise history. Make one like that again. The thing is
Right.
that no one liked that one.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is, and you know, they
I-
just need to get it right.
Yeah.
I played 5, and I can't say it's an amazing game, but I played it co-op with a friend, and I have to
Lot
say I do
better.
have some fond memories of that game with my friend. So it's probably I
And
can't think of the word. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Resident Evil 5 is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine.
6 is like that for people too. Like it's
Yeah.
it's so campy shit that people like play it because it's like a bad movie. The only problem with having games that are like that is that they become stressful and not fun beyond being funny. So I mean, I like the idea of Resident Evil, and there aren't enough cooperative shooters. So I absolutely hope that they continue, or not continue, but fix whatever the strange direction that they're going in. But anyways, that really the whole point of that was just to say that Monster Hunter is not on this list, which is like, not Mega Man, which is like
Yeah.
very very interesting. I'm glad that at the very least they're being transparent about it and saying, "Hey guys, we just don't think we can do anything with Mega Man." I think it's wrong, but I'm not a developer.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if
so
they
what
can
do I
do
know?
anything with Mega Man. Not without the person who actually made Mega Man there and not in this market. I don't think that for like a huge... I don't think they could make a AAA game out of Mega Man. I don't think they could do that. I
don't
think
think
that they
they
could make
make-
a smaller game like Mighty Number 9 out of Mega Man, but they
they
can't
should-
make a AAA
yeah.
title.
Why
I
make
can
a
just
AAA
imagine-
title? Why?
I can imagine
Make it
them.
small.
I can
Because
imagine
you
got
gotta spend big money to make big money.
I can imagine them fucking it up and making something like Plants vs Zombie Garden Warfare, but with Mega Man.
I actually would be okay with that. Oh shit! Could you guys imagine a fucking MOBA where you play as the robot masters, like all 100, however many of them? That'd be fucking. I would play it. That's the sad part. And I'm
I
not
would
even that
play
into
it.
Oh my!
But I don't know how many times I would play it.
And hey, if it's good,
Yeah.
you'd play it just as much as you'd play any other MOBA.
Oh, if it was good. The thing is,
Hell
is that
yeah.
I'm doubtful it would be good. I would play it
Yeah,
once and be
well-
like, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to Dota. Bye.
Right, but you know they I don't know. I think that they should like the UB Art program. I think is going to show a lot of big publishers that they can give small teams a small budget and a strong tech and expect good things. Because UB Art with Child of Light's doing pretty well critically. Seems to be selling well. I don't know. I have a lot of friends who've played it or are playing it. So
Is
I
Child
think
of Light
that'll
doing well
Yeah.
critically? Because, like,
yeah, it's doing well
I hear
enough.
good things about it, but then I also hear, like, not good things about it.
Yeah, but that's
The
any
thing is,
first-
like, the people I respect the most are talking bad about it, and the people who I kind of just see or hear that I don't really care about say good things about it, and then I'm like, I don't know if I
just-
can do this.
just check their slant. A lot of the people who I respect who don't like it, I also know what kind of RPGs they like. And it's
Yeah,
just a matter
I don't know.
of this is not a certain kind of RPG. It's focused, it's short, and it's got some tack-ons that it probably doesn't need.
See, the problems that I've heard about that game are, like, the combat's too repetitive and the strategy for it's not deep enough, and so it makes it seem
That is
longer
every
than it should be.
RPG of all ever forever.
Fair enough.
That-
I don't know.
There's RPGs that I love Chrono Cross to death, and even that game's combat system, as weird and fun as it is, still gets dry. They all do. I like Bravely Default. It got dry sometimes. RPGs, they're long and they have very, there's that lowest common denominator of what works every time. Like, when was the last time you used an ailment in an RPG? Like, why would you put something to sleep when you can kill it in one turn? You know? Anyways, I just think that I hope that Capcom can take this momentum off of Monster Hunter and do something really awesome next year, because I like them, despite their DLC having ways.
It seems like they're doing a bunch of stuff with Monster Hunter next year. I mean, there's going to be Monster Hunter 4 finally making it over to North America, at least for 3DS.
Yeah.
I won't buy that one because 3DS. Like, I love Monster Hunter, but I'll wait until 4 is on a real console, just because I don't want to buy a 3DS to play, to fucking sit there for 400 hours and,
Mhm.
fuck up my thumbs. I have a thumb that does, kickbox, so I have a thumb that doesn't fit in the joint, and I can't use the 3DS because my thumb doesn't like sit right. It bugs me after like half an hour. I'm just like, there's no way I can play Monster Hunter on this for 600 hours. Like, I won't have a hand.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
They're releasing the MMO that has plans to also localize for North America. That's coming out on PC, I think. And that's built in like Crytek 3, I think. It seems like they have a lot of plans to like expand that franchise and bring it over to the West, like a lot more frequently.
Yeah, man. I hope it works out.
Yeah, that would be sick. So, I put out a tweet that you obviously retweeted because I saw you did that, asking for questions, and we only got one of them, but maybe you can answer it for this nice person. So, at Super Sci Guy emailed me, I guess his name's Brian Bobian. Hello, Rated S. I have a question. If I wanted to be as sexy as you, what would I do?
I don't know. I feel like I need a consultant to explain to me in what ways I'm sexy.
Just look at that stat.
The way I do it is by having a mustache. That's a step one.
That's
being a mixed race. So get on that if you haven't already. Having in general, being not a shitty person. That's very sexy. Having a passion for something like food or sandwiches. You know, people like sandwiches.
People
and
love
glasses.
sandwiches.
Just combine them both, and you'll be good. If I had a sandwich right now, I guarantee you we'd have like 100,000 people in the stream.
Probably.
They would just know. They'd be like, oh, it's
probably.
a fucking sandwich glasses combo beacon. Like, we have to respond. That's how I would answer that question, I guess.
Great answer.
Thank you for calling me sexy, by the way. I appreciate that a lot.
Well, I'm sure if he was here, he would say you're welcome.
That's all.
I'll say you're welcome for him. You're welcome.
Thank you. And I didn't get any questions sent to me either.
That's fine. We don't normally get too many questions.
Yeah, loves us.
They just help. We like to save them up sometimes because we don't get like. I mean, you know how bad gaming news is. There just can be nothing that happens for a whole month, like the last 4 months. Just nothing has happened.
And
like
now,
the consoles came out, and then they fucking sat there. I was like, it'd be great if something happened.
We got Titanfall and Killer Instinct. Get excited. Hype train.
Oh man, E3, that's gonna be a big deal. Everyone's all mad still already because Nintendo's not doing their big presentation.
Guess what?
Again.
It's gonna be on Nintendo Direct. And guess what? I love Nintendo Directs. I don't give a fuck.
I love the last one.
And you know what?
Mario Kart
99.99% people ain't going to E3, so shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, it's retarded. E3 is a trade show, so like I don't understand why people are like, why aren't you doing the big presentation? Even though I can't go and see it.
Yeah. Anyone who's gonna give you news beyond the Nintendo Direct is gonna be there, and they're all gonna get meetings, and you're all gonna get news anyways. So relax.
So we've been going for like an hour and a half now, just about that.
I really have to use the washroom.
So we'll wrap this up, and
The washroom.
who needs the washroom? Washrooms are for the weak.
Me.
So
I just drank 2 whole glasses of water.
I drank
Like
a
a
couple
boss.
beers.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap this up, and then
Good
Dr.
choice.
Pepper, great
Dr.
choice.
Pepper, it's the best.
Yes, it is. All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me. It's been fun. I haven't
No
done a
problem.
podcast in a while.
Oh, it was great having you on. You were a great guest
Yes,
because
it was beautiful.
you actually knew what happened this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I
Sometimes people
I
don't.
podcasted for like 2 years before the unfortunate sadness befell.
Everybody-
I didn't know that. I did not know that you podcasted. I just have seen the show.
There you go, man. It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Now everybody knows.
I also
everyone.
podcasted for like 2 years before this podcast.
Yeah, Joe, where you at with your podcast experience?
Yeah, Joe.
I podcasted as a guest on this podcast before I was on this podcast.
All right, good
Here's
stuff,
my
guys.
experience.
He guessed it like twice before he was hosting this podcast.
That's right.
We have high standards here. No, I was like, I don't want to cancel my podcast. Message all the people I know.
There you go.
And Joe's like, I'm free all the time too. I'm like, great. Yeah. So
I have a life. It's okay.
thanks for coming on. You were a great guest. You knew all the things. We had good discussions. News happened this week. That always helps.
It does.
Sometimes news doesn't happen. Then we sit here awkwardly for like an hour and a half. Just don't talk about anything.
That podcast 2 weeks ago was horrible.
Yeah, because nothing happened. It's just like,
Yep.
Okay, fucking things.
We didn't even make an hour.
Yeah, I think it went like 45 minutes, and we're just like, you know what? We're not even going to try to make another 15. But, thanks for coming on. Thank you all for watching and or listening. I've been your host, Ryan. With me, as always, has been Joe. And then also this week's special guest, rated
I'm
S for
Todd.
Sandwich.
Hello. Goodbye. Thank you for all the memories.
Make sure to check out his channel. It's better than mine.
Oh. It's a channel. It's
It's a channel.
youtube.com/rated S4sandwich. That's for the letters, or the word for, with the letters F-O and R. And his discussions or whatever, breakdowns of things, as well as some top tens. And some other shit. I don't know. Just go check it out.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
Got
great.
that Batman seal of approval.
So thank you all, and good night.
Bye.
Yeah.